Alright guys, we are back. It is time.
And it is Polt, so he is at the event. We were wondering a
Look
little
at
bit about
that
it earlier.
hair. Sorry, look at that. Did you see that? I don't even know who that is. I hope he qualified. Look at that hair. That's Tails, man.
Yeah.
I recognize that hair anywhere.
But Polt is at the venue, and we were wondering earlier because he tweeted that something's wrong with his shoulder, but apparently he is good to go. And we are currently just getting ready for the first few games today. The players are setting up their gear, and we will start casting very soon. We're just waiting for the invites to the next few games, and this is of course the afternoon group that's now starting.
By the way, I did get confirmation that Trap and Sulky are going to play a best of one Protoss versus Zerg to determine who gets the final Kespa seed, and it's going to happen today, so we may actually cover that later on as well. So welcome back. We are going to have a lot of matches coming up today. Here's our Group I that we saw earlier already. And I'm not exactly sure when the matches are going to start, probably in about 15 minutes or so, I was told. We're basically halfway through here. The brackets are posted on Team Liquid. They're on Liquipedia. I tweeted about them. If you don't know my Twitter, it's Proxywolf. You can just go look at that. It's probably one of my most recent tweets. Here's Group J. You guys don't need to look at these groups, so if you have the brackets up, you can see them. Unless you memorize everyone's name, it's not going to be important to you. So that's Yu-Gi-Oh! Advancing.
So we had 3 Zergs advancing earlier, and 1 Terran player. Yeah, SC, Yu-Gi-Oh!, Lenok, and Horror advance today. And we of course have 4 groups now in the afternoon matches. And then we'll find out who else is going to go to the play in the WCS qualifier, in the Korean qualifier that starts in the 2nd week of August. We'll be casting all of those games on GOM TV.
Yeah. This is Horror's group. This is Horror advancing from Group K. So, and this one looks like Lenox in group. Dongyun.
Yeah, Leno playing against Killa in the final.
And this is Group L. But yeah, we've got groups, I guess, M, N, O, and P coming up. And an ST is in Group O. He does have to play, if I'm not mistaken, is his OSL group later on today?
I think Mr. J does not really have this headset on properly because he doesn't want to ruin his hairstyle.
Yeah, I can really respect that. Yeah, I saw that, man. Look at Supernova, still looking teamless and a little bit bored actually at this moment in time.
Still looking teamless.
He looks teamless, and it does. Look at the blonde hair is from Samsung. Now, if anyone knows who that is, please tweet at me with his Twitter ID so I can reply to him.
ST and Polt.
Yeah, an ST in Group O, and he has to play OSL, the dual tournament Day 2. He's in a group with Vampire, Marine King, and Yu-Gi-Oh! He's going to be playing that later on tonight, so he has to go through this rigorous qualification as well as play in the OSL tonight. So that's all the way in Yongsan, so he has to finish this and go to Yongsan, which lucky for him is at the same. You can transfer to Line 1 at Shindarim, so it's not going to be too bad, but look at Mr. Che with that headset going on, man. He looks like he's a...
That's awesome.
I can't remember the character's name from Star Wars and Empire Strikes Back. You know the guy who has the headset around the back of his head?
It looks so funny.
That's what he looks like, man.
It's actually also too big. I mean, you can see that it doesn't cover his ears.
Yeah. Here is Group M, and not all those players' names you probably know, but you can look the groups up later in your free time on the bracket that's there. Not gonna go through, pull at the bottom right, recognizable name. Well, Sella actually as well, the Zerg there for Slayers, I recognize his name.
In Group M we have Maru, we have Sokka, Reddy, Sage, Hero against Sella, there's Hyun in there. We have, for example, Movie. We have Gundal, the guy who was able to qualify for Code A. It was a little bit of a lucky shot because basically got a free buy up to the final match. Hope, Bong, Icarus, and Polt. In Group N, we have Heart, Dark, size Beach Björl is playing in here. It's going to be interesting to see how the Fnatic player is going to perform today.
Yeah, that will be really cool to see.
Also, Shine Reality Baby. He is up against Sound in round number 1.
Yeah.
And, well, at the bottom of the map we have Revival.
And on this group on screen, you can see at the top left, MJ Duck. That is Nesty.
Nesty against Artist. That's the first map. We have Junie, Zero later on. Comet, Mia for the Slayers team. Kong. We have Speed, Salvation and Virus. All of them fighting in a Group O. And of course Group P, that's the last group of the day. Here we have Supernova. He has to face Ragnarok in the first round. Actually in the round of 16, so it's Supernova against the TSL Zerg. And we have Check. We have... Oh, Check? Holy Check.
It's not the right check though.
Oh no.
It's a Terran.
No, it's a Zerg.
Really? Which round?
Yeah. Due to my greatest
Oh, okay.
So, could be Check. Stork is playing here though.
Actually, I bet
Stork
what that is he has the same name as Check.
Yeah, that could be. Well, Stork is actually, he might actually have to face Aphrodite if Aphrodite wins the first round. Tails is in this group. We have Classic, Sang, another hero. This is, I think, the Team Liquid hero here. And yeah, so we have another. So we have 2 heroes today. Yes.
Wait a minute, I don't actually think that's Liquid Hero.
Is he still looking at
No. Or is it, sorry,
yeah, I'm not quite sure, but I think that's him. Well, we have too many heroes right now, so we don't know exactly, but it's a Protoss player, could be him, I don't know. Zenio is also in Group P. Yeah, we can only refer to what we see on the brackets here. So.
And there is Kim Ga-yeon. That is, of course, Startail Aphrodite, the girlfriend of former player Hope Torture, who is actually currently retired and participating in the military service right now, but it'd be interesting to see how she does against Kespa players. I guess she's been playing a little bit longer than they have.
This Jay kind of fixed his headset.
Yeah, a little bit.
A little bit, just a little bit. He didn't really put it on his head just yet, not really.
Look at how his hair connects with his left eyebrow. You see that? It makes it look like his hair is a little bit longer there, but actually it's just his eyebrow.
That's
nice,
on purpose.
nice trick, Mr. Che, but we see through your guys. We know what's going on, Mr. Che.
He's casting today with Harry.
Scarless Harry. He looks kind of like Lucas from Mother 3 with his hair sticking up like that. He's not blonde, but if he were, man, he would be pulling a Tintin here or something. I'm not sure. I can't remember that commentator's name. The commentator on the left actually.
He was a comedian.
He is a comedian, yeah. He doesn't have an ID for this reason, so I don't actually know his Korean name. But he's very good commentator. Oh, we're gonna have Aphrodite versus Stork.
Okay, so
Stork
apparently
is
she
really
got a walk by. The thing is, the Liquid hero is seeded due to the GSL points. Yeah, that's actually true. But we have 2 heroes in these groups. The hero that we have in Group P is actually the CJ hero. But I thought I saw another hero. It's a pretty popular ID in Korean. I was pretty sure that I saw another hero not only in Group P but also before that. Must be some rather unknown player. Or I might be mistaken here. I might actually start to see things, but I was pretty sure that I saw a second.
No, I saw that too. I think that
I'm just going through the brackets and trying to find it. But yeah. Well, Liquid Hero got a seed. CJ Hero is starting Group P, so those are the 2 important heroes. Any other hero is probably not really worth mentioning at this point. I'm sorry if I forget someone, but I don't think so. Yeah, so Aphrodite we just saw on screen again. She will face Stork in round number 1.
Stork, really well-known Protoss player. You know, the Protoss players that we see kind of stick out because Protoss really struggled to do well in individual leagues. You had a lot of Terran versus Zerg finals, Zerg versus Zerg finals, and occasionally, you know, just rounds of 8s without Protosses at all. It's to be a Protoss that succeeds in the individual league is pretty rare. Well, not always, but right now we have a Protoss in the finals, for example, with Jangbi. But the Protosses that stick out for their teams always just they're quite known. And I wasn't even a Protoss player in StarCraft 1, but I like whenever I see a Protoss player doing well, I get excited when it comes down to these Kespa teams. And Stork is a good guy, a good Protoss player, and probably a good guy. That's not what I meant, but I'm sure he's amicable, you know, probably quite courteous, I would say. Song Byung-gu.
We have a pretty Protoss heavy bracket, by the way, in Group P, just from the looks of it. This is really Protoss heavy. Like half the other grid is Protoss, more than half. 6 Protoss players, 6 from 8 players are Protoss.
Well, we'll have some Protoss versus Protosses, I'm sure, then. The first map is going to be Entombed Valley, as you guys can see on screen there. It's the round of 16 from Group P.
I want to see who Baby has to face in case he beats Sound. He will probably have to play Revival. That would actually be a really good match. Yeah, I'm just currently looking at the brackets and whatever we could see here. So the Aphrodite game is probably going to be really interesting, especially, of course, that we want to face GSO players up against some Casper players. That's what most people tune in for.
Yeah, and I think that's what we're going to see.
Okay, there's another hero on Team 8. That might have been him. That might have been the one hero that I saw.
Okay.
Did the CJ hero get a seat as well? We mentioned the seats earlier. The thing about the seats is why we mentioned this with Jaedong and with Effort, but the problem is that they were just announced yesterday, so all the grids were already prepared, and therefore it was a little bit weird because they're, of course, now they are already listed in today's brackets, but they are basically mock offers. So the CJ hero gets a seat as well, therefore he doesn't have to play, which leaves us in Group P without a hero. Brain, if this is actually the CJ hero in Group P, then Brain gets a bye and will end up in the quarterfinals immediately, where he probably has to face Zinio later on. Yeah, so it's just the brackets are a little bit weird right now because of this reason. The Casper players, the invites were announced yesterday after the brackets were already created, and therefore it's just this confusion. In the other groups it was not that big of an issue. We had Jaedong and Effort, but yeah, right now keeping all these players in mind that actually get a bye. It's with Soul Kids basically like the same thing. He played yesterday even before he knew that he might get an invite here, but you mentioned that he has now to play one game.
One game against Trap.
So if he would have known this, he wouldn't have even needed to play yesterday. Gave him another shot though, of course. Alright, so this is the round of 16 that we are going to cast right now with the Terran versus Protoss, and we're just waiting for the matches to start. We have to follow the lead of the Korean commentators here.
Yeah. This should be interesting. A lot of people, know that Aphrodite used to stream occasionally and does well in women's-only leagues, but most people don't watch those, I would say. So to get a real test of her skill here, she is going to have to play against a really famous StarCraft 1 player that I'm sure she knows or has at least heard of.
I want to know who Czech is. If this is actually the Czech.
I can't find I'm trying to find a Korean bracket somewhere, but I couldn't find it. I think
if that's the former Warcraft player, that would be really cool.
He is in the military now, though, as far as I know.
He played for quite a while, so I'm really surprised to see this name here, but it might just be a former Google player. I don't know, we'll find out, guys. This is definitely something that probably one of you knows. So if you want to tweet that to me at Carl, that would be really interesting to know if this is the Warcraft 3 player. Well, we are heading into match number 1, and there it is. We are on Entombed Valley. We have the last 4 groups of the day. This to the top left is Aphrodite, starting for the Startail team here. The girlfriend of Hope Torture, aka Rainbow.
Yeah, one of the only female players.
The bottom right, we have Stork. yeah, other female players that are currently out there are, of course, well, Metalisk, for example. We have, I'm drawing a blank here, Scarlet. Metalisk, Scarlet, Quantic Gaming's Flow.
Yep.
They're
out there.
Why can't I remember the rest of them? There was this famous tournament in China.
There's a lot of Chinese
they were playing,
players.
and I cannot come up with their names for the life of it. Drawing a complete blank here, yeah, but yeah, Flo, Scarlet, Aphrodite, and who did I mention as well?
There's
Metalisk. They are probably the best female players out there right now.
There are some other players like Eve, for example, but I think Aphrodite is one of the most well-known. She's pretty good from what I've seen in the past of her. I mean, you know, I haven't seen her in a real tournament situation like this before, though, and this is what I'm really excited to see. I never thought we'd actually have the chance to commentate one of her games, but she is going with a gas here. So we may see a 2-racks or potentially a some sort of factory play earlier on.
I saw her play in one of the finals in one of the girls' leagues where she played against Scarlet, but Scarlet completely dominated her. And yeah, that game was really one-sided. Aphrodite is definitely one of the best female players out there, and I think she actually won the Chinese tournament that I was talking about earlier. But yeah, Scarlet right now is by far the best female player.
I think no one would really dispute that right now. We'll see.
She actually won WCS Canada.
Yeah, she did. We'll see what Aphrodite can bring to the table here. Looks like she's going to do a really old build here, coming out with a Marauder expand. Marauder first, and if she starts that concussive shell, which she keeps clicking on the Tech Lab, there it is. It's starting to seem very much likely that we are just going to see her drop a Command Center. With the Marauder expand, you can put a little bit of pressure on your opponent. You're safe against almost anything. You research Stim very quickly, and it gives you a lot of aggressive timing. So it's basically, you know, I think the best way to compare it, if you want to compare it to a Protoss build, is like the 3 Gateway Sentry expand. Yeah, you have the command center before you add the 2 additional barracks, but this allows you a lot of follow-up with Stim once your Nexus is done.
To resolve the check problem, it's probably Dream T check from Team 8. That's what MCXD just tweeted at me, so yeah. It's unfortunately for me, it's not the Warcraft 3 check. But thankfully for the Brood War players out there, you will see another of the Brood War players trying to qualify for the WCS. So far, none of them was able to pull it off. Look at Stork here with a pretty well hidden probe.
Yeah, the Stork hiding the probe there, and this is something that Aphrodite is, if she doesn't see this probe soon, she's gonna be totally exposed. Everything that she's doing right now is gonna be shown. The Marauders hold the Watchtower, which is gonna make it very difficult for Stork to move out. And he's gonna actually see this with the probe, loses the probe. Now he knows, okay, I can't move my Stalkers on that Watchtower, especially with the vision that the Marauders have, they're gonna hit first. But he will check the Command Center here, and will actually be able to get into the main base since Aphrodite left all of her Marauders on the Watchtower. So her triple barracks that will allow her to pressure later on is completely spotted.
Stork, on the other hand, is now just starting his Nexus on 3 gates. Therefore pretty safe against any kind of aggression. But yeah, let's see how Stork is going to start in his StarCraft 2 career.
That's what we're going to see here. Boom, down goes the probe. This Marauder not reacting, actually. We're going to lose that.
Yeah, not at all. The Marauder is just standing there taking the hits.
Bunker is complete, so she will be able to hold this. But there is the potential of a forward pylon, and with only 1 bunker and no SCV repairs, she might be able to, or he might be able to break her her front here.
That's the forward pylon, and if Stork actually commits to some early gate pressure on 3 gates, then he could do a lot of damage here. Aphrodite scans his main base and has a look at things, but yeah, this could actually hurt a lot. There's 1 bunker, and 1 bunker might just not be enough. Yeah. Of course, with all the Marauders that she already has, there's a good chance that she can throw this back. But
she made 2 reactors as well, you know, so that means she's gonna have a lot less units here.
Stork is not going to commit to this. He actually walks back right now, adds the tech in his main base, and is not going to commit to any kind of 3-gate pressure. The forward pylon, therefore, still useful for if he wants to warp in some zealots later on, especially if Aphrodite doesn't scout it and moves out. And she's actually scouting. She tries to have a quick look outside at the bottom of the ramp if there is currently a Protoss army that's just waiting to attack.
Now she may try to hit with Sim to do a little bit of pressure, and that's something that Stork is going to have to be prepared for. Because with that triple barracks production, yeah, her tech is delayed, her medevacs are going to be up a little bit late, but she's got this really strong Stim army that has a heavy composition of Marauders, and that's going to be something that good force fields are required for. Without the good force fields from Stork, she will break that ramp, and if the ramp is breached, reinforcements can just finish him off.
Stork is getting the Observer now for the scouting. He wants to know exactly what's going on in the Terran player's base, and he really needs to. Well, Aphrodite is now moving out. She wants to do some pressure damage here, and Stork sees this, but he does not move his Stalker. Ooh, doesn't pay attention to the minimap at all, apparently.
Yeah, this is something that happened to Aphrodite earlier with her Marauder, but now he knows this is coming. He warps in some Zealots, and he's got a lot of Sentry energy here. I don't think that Aphrodite will be able to break this if he force fields correctly, and since he knows this is coming, then he should be able to force field. Here we go.
Is she trying to stim up the ramp? Just having a scout here. The force fields actually are not good at all.
No. This is a mistake. She should have actually, or rather, he should have just blocked her out.
Just retreat and then block her out on the ramp, but he takes a lot more damage than he should. Aphrodite doing a fair amount of damage here, and if she has still a few Marauders left after the Zealots are gone, the rest of this army is in trouble. Thankfully for Stork, he has enough Stalkers to make this happen, but this was really a scary moment, and he did not really... Well, he didn't trade as well as he could have here.
The problem for Aphrodite now is that she does not have a starport, and without the starport, the Colossus that's about to pop out here is going to be quite deadly. I'm in so agreement with you. He got a little bit lucky. Imagine if she had gotten all those sentries. That would have been a lot of gas lost. Now getting the Forge as well. She's not going to necessarily die to Colossus pressure here, but if the Observer, wants to tell Stork, he says, "Hey, Stork, there's no starport just yet. He's just now starting she's just now starting the factory. This is something that you're going to want to be, potentially make use of the fact that this is so late. That could be scary. She cannot go up this ramp. There's way too many units there.
Yeah, there are way too many units, and she does not have the tech, so she kind of has to make this work at this point. But if you just compare the worker count that we have with 39 against 53, Stork has a very decent lead in a worker supply and a good economy. Aphrodite now starting with the upgrades, but as mentioned before, this factory is way too late. We already have the first Colossus. Actually, Extended Thermal Lance is halfway done, and the first Colossus is already out. So this is a really problematic situation for Aphrodite. She just doesn't have... She's not ready for this tech.
Yeah, the defensive Colossus here is going to be too much. She will have to back up. This is a very stressful position because now she knows the position she's in. She knows she's behind, and what can she do here? She's going to want to get a command center, but with the Colossi out, will she be able to hold that? Her third? No, she's going to have to make it in her main, and this is a little bit odd. I mean, like I said, this is a really old build. Why? Because the maps that we see nowadays are much bigger than they were in 2010 and early 2011. This is no Xel'Naga Caverns, so you have to be, if you do this build, you have to put pressure on afterwards with your 3 barracks. And she did, but even with 4 force fields from Stork, he just had enough units because he had enough time to get those out.
Stork is preparing to take a 3rd base here, something that he doesn't even really have to do. If he would have attacked with the 2nd Colossus, that's the 3rd Colossus, and this is the cue for him to actually move out. And I don't think that she will have any... I mean, she won't have any... she has a choice. Either she will lack the medivacs or she will lack the Vikings, one of the two. But whatever she decides on building now, she will lack the other. So she's going for the Vikings to count out those Colossi, but at the same time she will not be able to make up for the health that she loses as soon as she stims. So a very difficult situation for Aphrodite. Especially because she does not have the Viking count either.
The Viking count here quite low, and Guardian Shield's going up. Only 1 bunker in play. She's going to want more than that to hold this push. The 3 Colossi just forcing their way up the ramp. The damage output of these Stalkers is intense. There's a good concave for Aphrodite, but that's not going to be enough here, I don't think.
One of the Colossi dies, but most of the Marines are already gone. A very Marine-heavy army. Well, not anymore. Now the Marauders are actually the only thing that survives here. But still, she pulls the SCVs, and this is GG. Aphrodite loses game number 1 to Stork, the Protoss player, too strong in this first one.
Yep, Stork taking that game 1 lead. Aphrodite showing that new styles and newer builds definitely may be the way to go. The Marauder Expand is a build that you can still use, but cross positions on Entombed did not work out for her. I mean, she just kind of, I don't want to say randomly, but she just kind of stimmed, and Stork was like, well, instead of just buying time and waiting for your stim to run out, I'm actually just going to fight you here. And it was the best possible engagement she could have had. But even still, he held with the warp-ins because he had enough time and he had enough chrono energy to just keep hitting those warp-ins.
She just didn't have anything to counter the Colossi. She was really Marauder heavy with this army, and the Colossi were dealing way too much DPS to the light armored units. This was not the timing that she was prepared for. He moved out with 3 Colossi. 2 Vikings are not enough to take down 3 Colossi in time to prevent the damage to the Bio army.